After having meditated upon the sin of the angels, the sin of our first parents, Adam and Eve, the sin of an individual is lost because of one mortal sin, and after having meditated upon the person of David, giving a biographical sketch of this great man, the genesis, or the reason why he fell into such a serious sin, and the consequences of the sin of David, and then after having meditated upon the four last things, which are death, judgment, heaven, and hell, next, it is very important that we meditate upon what are called the capital sins. What are the capital sins? Capital sins are not actually mortal or venial sins or actual sins until they're acted upon. Rather, the capital sins are part of what we have inherited by being sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. St. Thomas Aquinas would call it concupiscence. These are tendencies, inclinations, proclivities that pull us away from God, which is our final end, and pull us toward evil. St. Paul speaks about this when he speaks about the tendencies of the flesh, how the flesh and the spirit are in mortal combat against each other. So as a result of original sin, we have these strong tendencies, inclinations, proclivities within us which pull us away from our proper end. A good analogy might be a tug of war in which we know the good that we have to do, but often we end up by doing the opposite. Jesus himself said, the spirit is willing and the flesh is weak. And St. Paul said that the good that I know that I should do, I end up by doing the exact opposite. So we have to really know these capital sins, what they are, and how they act within us. So we want to pray for a self-knowledge to honestly know which of the capital sins is predominant within us. What are the capital sins? The capital sins can be divided into two categories. Those of a carnal nature and those of a more spiritual nature. Those of the carnal nature would be gluttony, lust, greed, sloth, or laziness. Those of a spiritual nature would be that of jealousy, related also to envy, anger, and that of pride. Both St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Gregory the Great give us the classical number of the 7 capital sins, which once again are gluttony, lust, greed, sloth, anger, envy, and pride. You might be thinking, as you listen to this, I've got all of those. My friend, you do. But there's one of these capital sins that is going to be the dominant one within you. And it's up to you, through prayer, through meditation, and through the examination of conscience, to discover which one of these is the dominant one within you. And with the help of God's grace, to conquer this. Because either we will become a slave to these capital sins, or we will experience the liberty of the sons and daughters of God. Amen.